new episode of Wrestling with Siblings. I'm your host, Araceli, and this is my co-host, Armando.
Hi guys, I'm Armando, and welcome to Wrestling with Siblings.
We pretty much just got back from Brooklyn, from New York City. It's been a few days. Sorry for not posting, but we are pretty much recuperating from a hectic WrestleMania weekend. For those of you that have attended, you know it's show after show after show after show, back to back to back to back to back.
It was just a brutal week, just because, like you said, all the events, all the shows, and once the shows and actions, all that starts kicking in, you pretty much don't have no time to do anything.
Exactly. So therefore, that takes up half your time. And we did try to vlog, but given the fact that we were so busy with all the events and everything, it was nearly impossible. But I will upload the footage if you guys want to see whatever we got. Alright, let's get started with Raw after Mania. The Raw that everybody wants to attend, the Raw that everybody looks forward to, the Raw that pretty much starts off a new year for wrestling. It was live from Brooklyn, and none other than the man, Seth Rollins. No, not Becky Lynch. The man, Seth Rollins, opens up the show, and he is the brand new Universal Champion.
Yeah, and he pretty much states how he has worked this entire year that passed to get where he's at and how he deserves it. Not only him, but the entire WWE universe, just because of Brock Lesnar and how Brock Lesnar is not a fighting champion and how he's not there every single day. And Seth Rollins says that he's going to be there every single day and defend it.
Yes, so he's going to be that defending champion that we've always wanted. By the way, we will be uploading the WrestleMania review show after these two episodes. Anyways, back into Seth Rollins. Armando pretty much took all the words out of my mouth, but he does get interrupted by none other than the New Day, who has the WWE champion, Kofi Kingston, and he's like, I am very confused as to why you guys are here. Today isn't Tuesday, today is Monday, this is my show, this is the show that I run. And pretty much Kofi went over there to say, yeah, we both went through these struggles to finally get to the point where we want to be at. But the women did main event WrestleMania for the first time ever. Therefore, that gave me an idea. How about we have a match tonight on Raw and we make it winner takes all? The Universal Champion Seth Rollins versus the WWE Champion Kofi Kingston. The winner of that match was going to be pretty much a dual champion.
Very interesting stipulation that Kofi decides to put out there. I mean, 24 hours away from becoming WWE champion against Seth Rollins. I don't think it was a smart decision, but at the same time, hey, he's a champion. He wants to be a defending champion, and hey, he's going to take on all comers too.
Exactly. And Seth Rollins, of course, doesn't back out from a fight. He accepted the challenge, so that's going to be the main event of the first Raw of this year.
What a way to start off the first Raw after WrestleMania.
Exactly. Alright, moving on to the brand new WWE Tag Team Champions for the Raw brand. Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder versus the Revival, and this match was pretty much a rematch for the tag titles, which if you really think about is very, very weird, because in this new era, you have to earn your rematches. You don't just get them handed to you. And in this occasion, the Revival just had them given to them.
Yeah, and I mean, as for those of you that didn't see WrestleMania, Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder were able to be victorious against the Revival, therefore giving Kurt Hawkins his first victory after, I believe it was 200 and something matches.
Yep.
And all I gotta say is, what a way to win at WrestleMania, the biggest stage of them all, and not only that, but become tag team champion.
Exactly, 100%. But I feel like the first time, the Revival weren't prepared. This time, for sure, on Monday Night Raw, they were prepared. You can tell, simply because Scott Dawson was doing a fantastic job keeping Zack Ryder away from Kurt Hawkins. Not that he was dangerous, but he knew that if he can stop the momentum going into this match early on, he pretty much had an advantage going on for the rest of this match.
Yeah, and like you said, stopping Zack Ryder was key because he knew Kurt Hawkins, what had happened last night, it was pretty much a fluke. So they were like, okay, in their eyes, Kurt Hawkins was the weaker link.
Exactly. But also, you have to keep in mind whenever Kurt Hawkins did come into this match, he came in with a huge momentum. He was cleaning house. And same thing with Zack Ryder. You got to give both these men credit. They were definitely prepared, and I want to see what's next for them. I mean, they are our champions.
Yeah, definitely excited for this tag team. They have a lot of potential. And, I mean, Kurt Hawkins decided to steal one.
Not just once, but twice, because he stole it on Raw and he stole it at WrestleMania. But that's good because he's learning, hey, I got to do whatever it takes to win. And at this point, having Zack Ryder as a mentor and having him as his partner can be very beneficial. We already saw that. They became tag team champions pretty much 2 weeks after getting back together as a team. And the Revival is going to be interesting to see where they go with them. I mean, they pretty much became champions. They only defended, maybe twice? And then after that, they didn't defend up until WrestleMania.
And keep in mind, the Superstar Shakeup will be, I believe, next week. So we're going to see a lot of changes, hopefully for the better of both brands. So we'll see where the Revival ends up going, whether Raw or SmackDown.
Yes, definitely. Alright, let's move on to Baron Corbin, who you can already imagine comes out to pretty much brag about his victory over WWE Hall of Famer Kurt Angle at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I probably would have done the same thing just because, like you said, he beat a Hall of Famer.
Well, yeah, and he also proved that he's better than a gold medalist, and you already know this is part of his character. He's cocky, he's arrogant. He wants to make you mad, and this is the way he did it again. But this time, it backfired because Kurt Angle interrupted him, and he pretty much put him in the ankle lock and proved that he still got it.
Yeah, decided to get a little bit of revenge, and at the end of the day, Kurt Angle had the last laugh.
Well,
Wasn't
not
a laugh?
necessarily, because the man that everybody pretty much forgot about, or that we thought WWE forgot about, Lars Sullivan, came out and he pretty much attacked Kurt Angle like, the man isn't even going to be wrestling. He just had his farewell match. What are you doing? Why would you attack Kurt Angle? Now I get it. He's trying to make a name for himself. He's a rookie. He's up-and-coming talent. But why Kurt Angle when he's not going to be wrestling anymore?
I don't know, I guess he's just trying to make a statement. Yeah, trying to pick on a legend, and we'll see what happens. But very, very impressive, Lars Sullivan. Just his size, and I see him as probably like another Braun Strowman
And that's
powerhouse.
That's a match I would love to see. Lars Sullivan versus Braun Strowman would be absolutely fantastic. I would love to see him against Drew McIntyre as well. Put him against any powerhouse. He's going to deliver. It's going to be a brutal match. Alright, moving on to the host of WrestleMania, Alexa Bliss versus Bayley. Very short match, but you gotta give it to both Bayley and Alexa because they gave a fantastic match, and I'm very glad this is Alexa's very first match back.
And she looked amazing. She looks like she just hasn't lost a step, and it looks like she's been studying the competition ever since she got injured and she came back.
And I mean, what could you really say about Bayley? She's been stealing the show and the matches she's been competing in night after night after night after night. So you really got to give it to Bayley as well. You can't underestimate Bayley.
Especially the last couple of weeks, like you said, she has been like really proving herself and carrying Boston Hug Connections at certain points when she has to step up.
And you also have to keep in mind, she has been frustrated because obviously they lost to the Iconics at WrestleMania. That not necessarily that's a bad thing, but you can see the frustration. You can tell she was a lot more brutal with each and every single one of the moves that she did. But at the end of the day, Alexa ends up being victorious. I'm excited to see where Little Miss Bliss is gonna end up because he did say Superstar Shakeup is next week. So
same thing with Bayley. I'm excited to see what this Superstar Shakeup has for her. Hopefully it's something good just because she is our hometown hero and we want the best for her.
Yes. Alright, moving on to none other than the dual champion, the man Becky Lynch, who came out victorious at WrestleMania, defeating both Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey.
Like she likes to call herself now, Two Belt Becky.
Becky Two Belts.
Becky Two Belts.
Yes. So she comes out and she pretty much says, "Look at us now. 9 years of working hard. Me being pretty much the underdog going into this match with pretty much the odds against her because if you really think about it, Charlotte was champion, Ronda was champion, Ronda was undefeated, and Charlotte was pretty much the chosen one. So she was the ultimate underdog, and she emphasizes a little bit on that. She thanks the crowd, and she says that she has been underestimated this entire time. Ever since SummerSlam, she was underestimated. No one ever thought she was going to be a part of the main event. She got there, she delivered, she came out, walked out victorious with both championships.
Becky Lynch just proving everybody wrong and just breaking the odds and walking out champion. What better way than to do it at WrestleMania against probably two of the top women in this women's division.
Exactly. But, interesting enough, we found out who her very first opponent more than likely is going to be. Lacey Evans finally stepped up and decided, you know what, I am going after Becky Lynch. She went, she punched her, and there was a mini brawl, and it's going to be interesting to see because he has said it before in previous podcasts. You can go ahead and listen to those. Link is in the description. But he did say that Lacey Evans reminds him a lot of Charlotte Flair, and I completely agree with that.
Yeah, if not, she is probably going to be the next, like I said, Charlotte Flair. And I've been saying this pretty much since the Royal Rumble. I didn't get the chance to follow her down in NXT, but ever since I saw her at the Rumble, she like really impressed me. Just a few minutes that I got to saw her in the ring, and I had told her, like, she's gonna be big and she's gonna be one of the top stars, just like Charlotte, in the main roster. And I'm just excited to see her in ring compete, and what other than against the man.
Yes, exactly. Making a name for her against the right competitor, and I gotta say, I'm already a fan of Lacey Evans.
And not only that, another thing too is in the Rumble, she decided to square up against Charlotte Flair. And for you to do that against pretty much the most gifted woman in the WWE tells you something, that she has confidence and that she is not afraid of nobody. And she had done it again by stepping up to Becky Lynch.
Yep. She has picked the right person to make a name out of herself, and she's going to be big. That alone just gives you that advantage.
That's one superstar in the women's roster where you really have to keep a close eye. I believe this is going to be one great year for her.
Yep, very, very dangerous competitor. Alright, moving on to Ricochet and Aleister Black versus Bobby Roode and Chad Gable. Again, you can kind of see the jealousy coming from Gable and Bobby Roode against Aleister and Ricochet. You can see it just in the wrestling style, but very, very impressed with both teams. They both brought something new to the Raw Tag Team division, something that I thought I wouldn't see there. Because when you look at the SmackDown Tag Team division, it's perfect. You have all kinds of teams. You have the powerhouse teams, you have the high-flying teams, you have everything. But Raw kind of lacks that, and I feel like Bobby Roode, Chad Gable, Aleister Black, and Ricochet have really brought something new to the Raw Tag Team division, and it's made me care about it.
I would throw the Revival there too.
Yeah.
In that group, I think these three tag teams have really made that Raw Tag Team division relevant again. Like it's a must see. And like I said, going back to the shakeup, I'm excited to see which tag teams are going to come into Raw to make it. If it were up to me, I would keep SmackDown. I would move maybe one team or two, just to bring it over to Raw to make it even.
Yeah, the only team I would probably move over to Raw would be the Usos, simply because SmackDown has the New Day. SmackDown has the Hardy Boys. I think that's more than enough for them to be able to float and keep the SmackDown Tag Team division afloat over there. And I feel like Raw could really use somebody like the Usos.
They have the Bar as well too. Another one of the three tag teams that SmackDown has. Another one that's starting to catch my attention is Rusev and Shinsuke Nakamura. So SmackDown looks pretty solid on that, but we're not going to get into that right now.
No. We'll get into that next week for the Superstar Shakeup as soon as that happens. But anyways, back into this match. Absolutely fantastic. There's nothing you can say about them because we've already said everything we had to say about them in previous podcasts. So go ahead and listen to that. Link in the description.
All I got to say is for those of you guys that didn't watch NXT TakeOver, I really recommend you to watch Aleister Black and Ricochet versus War Raiders.
Yes.
It was just an amazing match. I highly recommend it, and it's just unbelievable. It's going to keep you on the edge of your seat.
Yeah, we were there live, and we couldn't believe what we were seeing. It was absolutely incredible. Plus, that kind of little farewell for Alistair and Ricochet from NXT was really heartwarming. So go ahead, check it out. WWE Network $9.99. If you don't have it, grab it because it has all the newest content.
And another thing too, we'll see what they end up doing with Ricochet and Alistair. Are they going to continue being a tag team, or are they going to be going in singles competition? So we'll see.
We'll see next week. All right, moving on to Dean Ambrose versus Bobby Lashley with Lio Rush, obviously. So this was going to be Dean Ambrose's last match in the WWE, and I think Bobby Lashley took it too far. But as I was telling Armando, there's two ways this storyline can go. And I'll get into that pretty much right now. So, Bobby Lashley comes out, and as I said, this is Dean Ambrose's last match in the WWE as advertised, correct? And then he comes out and he's like, well, don't worry, Dean. While you're gone, we'll go ahead and take care of your wife. We'll make sure she's okay. And obviously, that's pushing it a little too far. That set something off in Dean Ambrose, and he completely, went after Bobby Lashley.
Dean Ambrose reacted like that. Even you pretty much, mess with his wife. You talking smack about her. And, I mean, we see Dean Ambrose react the same way with the Shield brothers. So once you pick around his family, then that's when he starts getting a lot more serious.
Yeah, that's when you really set him off. Interesting enough, though, which way do you think they'll go? They can go with, okay, we're going to use... They really didn't tell them about this, and they're just... WWE's plan is just, we'll use Renee to try to get Dean Ambrose to resign, right? Because if she gets getting picked on week after week after week after week, it's going to get to a point where Dean is going to be like, I have to do something about it. And he could potentially resign with the WWE. Or it could just be like, it's part of the storyline where Dean gets to leave for a few months, and again, Bobby keeps picking on him. Other superstars keep picking on Renee, and then that's when he just decides to come back when he never left the company.
Hopefully, it's a storyline and he doesn't end up leaving for the benefit of the company and for his career. And if he does leaving, it's probably just to try out some new things. Just he has a life outside of the WWE too as well, and I think he just wants to try, like I said, new things. And
yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure the man never really had a honeymoon, so that could potentially be why he wants to leave. I don't know. I don't know Dean Ambrose like that. I don't know Renee like that to be able to tell you guys the reason, but it will be interesting to find out as this all plays out in the next couple of months. Alright, moving on to pretty much an unexpected return. Sami Zayn, we all knew he was going to be coming back. We just didn't know when. Although we could have pretty much assumed it was going to be at this time because there's no better time for somebody big to come back other than the Raw after WrestleMania.
Yeah, and even Sami Zayn said it. It's like, if you miss WrestleMania, what better way to come back than the Raw right after, like you said, WrestleMania. And he looked pretty impressive in the ring. He did offer an open challenge to anybody in the back that wanted to face him, man. One of his good friends decided to answer the challenge, none other than Finn Balor.
Exactly, and it was going to be for the Intercontinental Championship, so Finn Balor was able to put that on the line, and what a fantastic match. Similar styles, if you notice, the match was pretty even all the way around. They're friends, they know each other super, super well, but most importantly, the wrestling styles are pretty similar.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, Finn Balor ended up with the victory. I think the difference in this match was the being in the ring constantly, and I think Sami Zayn not being in the ring as often and coming back from injury cost him a little bit towards the end.
You think so?
I think so, yeah. I think if he would have been in the in-ring rhythm like everybody else, I think he probably would have won. But like I said, it was his first match.
Yeah, he just came back. Yeah. So give him a few more months, and do not be surprised if you see him in the title picture, which is the big title picture or the small title picture. Give him a few months, and he will definitely be there.
He's another superstar like Samoa Joe that has had great matches and has just had ended up short on becoming WWE champion, whether it's Intercontinental or US champion. He's been this close, and hopefully after this injury and him coming back, hopefully he gets a title shot.
And I was super confused with his character because he did lose to Finn Balor, right? And at first, when he first came out and issued pretty much a challenge to anybody, I was like, okay, well, he's a face, right? He loses, and then he gets up, and then he pretty much starts calling all the WWE Universe fans all the critics. He's like, everything is your fault. This is why all this happened. Pretty much saying this is why we can't have nice things. Now, is he wrong? Not necessarily, but that just makes me think, okay, well, is he a face? Is he a heel? Is he in between? Because I'm confused at this point.
I think he was just testing us.
You think he was just testing us?
Testing us, and then at the end he made up his mind. He's like, you know what, I'm going to be a heel.
Alright, that makes sense. I'll take it. If you think you have a better explanation, leave it in the comments below. Yeah. Let us know what you think.
And most of the time when pretty much superstars come back from injuries, they end up being heels. I don't know why, but
that's a very valid point.
They all pretty much end up, I think they have time to reflect and think things through.
I think they're a lot more eager when they come back, and they want to be back in the position where they were right before they left, so they figure the only way to do that is to come back and take everybody out.
Like, a perfect example would be like Dean Ambrose. He came back as a face, and then a couple weeks, he turned on Seth Rollins.
100%. Alright, moving on to Elias. He was going to headline WrestleMania, perform, have pretty much the biggest performance of his entire career.
Let me tell you this. You have to watch WrestleMania and go back to the Elias segment because it's a must-see segment. You cannot miss it. There was a couple surprises. I'm not going to tell you, so you can go back and watch it.
But or you can simply just go back and watch our review on WrestleMania, which we will upload in like the next couple of days. So, go do that. Alright, so Elias, he pretty much comes out, complains about how certain somebody, quotation marks, ruined his performance at WrestleMania. And can you blame Elias? No, because he's always getting interrupted, and in the biggest night of his entire career, he gets interrupted. The spotlight was pretty much taken away from him. But he did make a very important point. He said, I will perform right here, right now, what I was going to perform last night at WrestleMania. If anybody interrupts me, they will be dead man. And
sure enough, what happens? The Undertaker music plays in the background, and he was face to face with the Undertaker, and Elias's face, priceless, scared. It looks like he has seen a ghost.
He pretty much summoned the Undertaker by saying the dead man. You don't just say the dead man and not expect Undertaker to come out. So Undertaker came out, and they were face to face, as Armando said, and very, very interesting. I wasn't expecting the Undertaker to come out simply because, one, he was in Mania, but going back to Sami Zayn's point, if you're not at WrestleMania, you're more than likely going to come back at the Raw after WrestleMania.
Yeah, and be careful what you wish for, Elias.
Oh yeah, and the Undertaker, he still got it. He took Elias out, so very interesting to see how at the Superstar Shakeup, Elias is going to react to the last two nights that he had back to back, because they were not pretty for Elias.
Now let's see what kind of surprises are in store for him too at the Shakeup.
Alright, let's move on to the main event, which was Seth Rollins, Kingston, winner take all Universal Championship and the WWE Championship both on the line.
I was excited for this match. I was like, okay, they both have huge momentum. The crowd is behind both of them, pretty much even. And maybe 5 minutes into the match, what happens? The Bar decides to interrupt the match.
Yeah, so they decide it's time to interrupt. Why? I don't know, but their next target could potentially be either Seth Rollins or Kofi Kingston. Maybe they want a shot at one of the championships.
And I feel that they've been teasing the Superstar Shakeup these past couple of weeks because before Mania, we've been seeing superstars from SmackDown show up on Raw, and Raw superstars show up on SmackDown. So they just kind of been like...
But the only reason why that happened was because Kurt Angle was having his farewell match. So it kind of makes sense if you really think about it, because he was going to be having his farewell match, and like he was going to be facing some of the people that had the biggest impacts in his career. So they had to go back and forth. So that right there, that makes sense. But it's like, why is the Bar on Raw now? They could potentially be the team that moves over to Raw at the Superstar Shakeup. However, I'm not sure it's a good idea to keep the Usos and the Bar on the same brand.
We'll see what happens, and like I said, it might just be a teaser.
Exactly, it might just be a teaser. So therefore, this then becomes Seth Rollins and Kofi Kingston, both champions, versus the Bar. The match is extremely brutal. You already know the way the Bar is, the way their matches are. They are brutal, and they show absolutely no mercy.
And very interesting tag team between Seth Rollins and Kofi Kingston. It's a once in a lifetime where you get to see these two guys just pretty much be partners, at least for one night.
Exactly. All right, that's all we have for you guys on this episode of Wrestling with Siblings.